So welcome back to Wales on yet another damp, drizzly and frankly quite depressing day. It's the end of January and we've still got a few weeks of winter left. So I thought I would cheer myself up by working on a project that will hopefully be ready in time for spring, and that is a Wendy House to a brooder shed conversion. So this is what it looks like so far. We paid £30 for it and it was basically just a bunch of timber when we saw it. Here's a photograph of what it looked like when we got it back into the yard. And after a couple of hours, it's turned into this so far. I've had to put a new roof on it, so we've got some felt there to make it waterproof. And the most important thing about a coop or a shed like this that you're going to have poultry in is the base. And what I've done is, in a couple of videos ago, I think it was called Avian Flu Top Tips and Prevention, I had a 30-second segment on there where I showed you the base. So I'm going to put that up again now, so you can just see how important it is that you get the base right to stop rodents, particularly rats, getting in underneath the shed and harming your birds. So here's that video now. And that's this. It's the base for a new chicken coop. It's actually going to be a nursery coop where the next year's spring chicks are going to spend the first 6 weeks of their life. And the reason I wanted to show it to you is because I wanted to emphasize how important it is to get the base right when you're protecting them against predators. So what I've done is I put some 4x2 timber down to make the base. Once it's been leveled, then I put some hardcore, this is actually 14mm gravel, and then on top of that I put this wire mesh. It's 1-inch wire mesh, and I've pinned it down and I've allowed an overlap of about 4 or 5 inches all the way around, so that once the coop goes on top we can turn up those edges and pin them to the side of the coop to ensure that no predators, and it's rats I'm really worried about when it comes to the chicks, no predators can burrow underneath and dig up into the coop and get at the chicks. So I'll make a video of that as I go along, but I just wanted to show you the base that I've done at the moment. So here's the Wendy House now sitting on that base. I've got to turn that mesh up and attach it to the bottom of the Wendy House to stop anything getting underneath it, but you'll see how important that is. Go all the way around. This wire here is going to be bent up and then pinned to the bottom of the shed. Look around the back. You can see it here. That's going to go all the way up there and will be pinned onto this. And hopefully that will be rodent proof. We've got that mesh there, and we've got the hardcore, which you've just seen on the other video, still under there. So it's going to take a lot for a rodent to gnaw his way through that. And in fact, I'd say it's pretty impossible for him to do that. There's another look at the roof there. Let's look at the inside. Look, you can see it was a child's Wendy House. We've still got lace curtains up. So this is the inside of the shed, which will eventually become the brooder shed. There's going to be brooder boxes either side of this kind of central walkway here. We're going to put some shelves up, I think. Maybe keep some incubators on there. I'm going to keep the glass in these windows because it's important that the temperature is kept up inside for the chicks. If this was to be for adult birds, I would replace all of these, I think, with some mesh. But as it is, it's going to be for the chicks. I'm probably just going to replace one of these, probably this one, with some mesh, and I'll keep glass in all of the others. Later today, and I'll include it in this video, I'm going to insulate these walls. I'm going to put some foil face insulation in here and then some thin plywood over it, just to ensure that it's nice and warm for the chicks. I'll probably insulate the ceiling as well, and I may put some plywood on the floor. But today, the first stage is going to be to insulate this, and then subsequent work will be included in further videos. So I'll go and get the insulation ready, and I think that's going to be the first step. So this is the insulation I'm using. It's called foil face, and it's standard insulation you use for walls in a house. This stuff is 25 millimeters thick, and it comes in 8 foot by 4 foot sheets. I've got 2. I think it should be enough here. They work out at about £20 each. I got them from a builder's centre, builder's merchant, but I'm sure you can get it cheaper online if you look. So the idea now is that I will take it inside. I'm going to put it between the battens, and then I'll mark the top and the bottom of the insulation, join the 2 dots with a straight edge, cut it with a saw. It's easy to cut, very easy to cut, and then it should be between the battens, and I'll go all the way around and hopefully do the roof as well. The idea is to cut it a little bit larger than you need, just a tad larger than you need, so that it fits snugly between the battens and shouldn't fall out. So I'm going to do this one, and I'll show what it looks like, and then we'll go and carry on and do the rest. So we've put one panel up. As you can see, that fits quite snugly. I'm just going to very, very quickly show you how I do the second one. It's relatively simple. So we hold the insulation up between the 2 battens, and we'll mark the top. And the bottom. Get my straight edge. Join the 2. Then get my saw, and I'll show you how easy it is to cut. Apologies, it's a bit cramped in here. I'll try my best to show you. But you'll see how easy it's cut. Then hopefully, it may take a bit of trimming, but hopefully, there we go, a nice snug fit. Now I've just got to go all the way around, finish the insulation, and then we'll put some plywood on top. Hopefully I've got enough insulation here to finish this. And then I will show you the finished product when I finish the installation at the end of the video. Just to point out, if this was for adult birds, if this was a chicken coop for adult birds, I wouldn't be doing any of this. In fact, I would be taking the windows out and replacing them with everything with vents, with mesh, because it's vital that you have ventilation in a chicken coop, but not for chicks. These can't regulate their own temperatures. They don't have feathers, so they need as much warmth as they can get. But if it was for adult birds, I wouldn't be doing any of this. So that's as much as I can do today, unfortunately. I have run out of insulation. I'll probably have to get another sheet to finish it off with, but I'll just show you what I've done. You can see I've done most of the panels. Quite a snug fit all the way around. And that's ready for the ply once I get the next sheet of insulation on. Just a top tip here, you'll see this stuff is really expensive, so don't waste it. If you have any left over, you can kind of make like a jigsaw puzzle effect here. You can cut the pieces out and wedge them in here. I've done it there. I've done it even more over here. See what I've done there? So I didn't want to waste any of this expensive insulation, so any bits of you've got left over, just cut them to size, squeeze them in. Here, for instance, I've got a gap. I'm not worried about the gap. That bit there was slightly too small, but I fitted that in, and I put some wedges in there to hold it in place. Once the ply goes on, that's going to be nice and tight. Again, you'll see I've done it up here. It doesn't look pretty, but it doesn't have to. It just has to work. Once we get some plywood on top of that, you'll never know the difference. So So that's it for now. Insulation's off. What I've got left to do, I've got the plywood to go on. I'm going to put another layer of ply probably on the floor. Got to take one of these windows out, probably this one, and replace it with mesh. And then I'm going to build some brooder boxes. I'm going to have removable ones so that, because the chicks aren't messy, I'm going to be able to remove them, sweep them out, empty them out, put the chicks back in. I've got an electric supply to run into here to run probably the incubators, because they'll probably incubate in here actually as well. I'm going to put some shelves up so the incubators can sit on those. And the brooder plates are obviously electric, so I need an electric supply for that as well. So that's still left to do. And it's going to get a good coat of paint. And I'm going to take down these, even though my wife quite likes them. These are coming down, and then it should be finished. I'm going to come up with some kind of system whereby I can. There'll be some kind of alarm if the electrics go off. I haven't quite worked it out yet, but if we do lose the electrics, I'm going to need a way of knowing. So I'm probably going to put a little light outside, maybe a 12-volt light with a transformer from 240 volts down to 12 volts. So there's a light on the top, so I can see it from the outside, and work out some way of alarming me if the electrics do run out. But that's for another day. So insulation done for today. That's as much as I'm going to do. In the next video, we'll have a look at the ply, the floor, and we'll probably chat about the brooder boxes as well. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Any questions, just let me know. Please subscribe and press the like button, and I'll see you in the next video.